you have her till you need her. I was watching a Karen Straughan video last night, and she made some excellent points. She was talking about how men were expected to do all these things, these amazing things, were expected to work and provide and take care of women and support them emotionally or whatever. And to a degree, women will reciprocate some of that behavior, and society will reward you with opportunities and ways to make money and stuff like that. But only when you don't really need it. See, when you really need it, when you really need a job, when you really need a woman to come through for you, they never do. In this society, and this kind of builds on the video I did yesterday, the Sociopath Advantage. People only seem to want to give to you when you already have something, or when you look like you don't need it. Especially women. I've had women shower me with love and affection. I'll use Jasmine as an example, right? Haven't talked about Jasmine in a while. For years, Jasmine would do whatever I asked her, give me attention, when I didn't really need it, offer up services to me that I didn't really need, always super affectionate and stuff like that. And I was always I was always pretty cold and nonchalant, right? But one day, I was feeling really down, and I really needed, I really just for some reason longed to be a good man and just be good to her. And so I started talking to her, and I'm like, look, I've been, I don't know, I've been kind of down lately. I need someone to talk to. Like, why don't I come hang out with you for a while or some shit like that? And when she could sense that I was actually in a vulnerable state, something about that disgusted her. And that's when our entire sort of relationship, whatever it was, went down the drain forever. The moment she saw me in any sort of weakness, the moment she saw me needing her at all, is when I lost her forever. And we really never talked again after that. And this applies to anything in life with a man in this Western culture. It's funny because I was hanging out with some Arabs yesterday. I'm Middle Eastern, and I hear them talking about how, they're like, when my friends and family are down, that's when I'm there for them. Like, Middle Eastern girls I was like with were like, oh, when my parents are feeling bad, or my friends or whatever, or my husband, I always come through to make him feel better. Like, in a natural society, a man is supposed to, when he feels down, he's able to lean on his woman for a little emotional support. That's what gets him back up and gets him going again, right? But in this society, it seems like women are not raised to know how to help their man bounce back when he's down and out. They're only searching for guys who are winning, and they want to just ride the coattails of men who are winning. And the second that man shows any sort of human, because feeling weak, feeling down for a little bit, that's part of being a human. But the second that man shows any sign of just feeling down or feeling blue, or just needing a little support to just get back out there and do what he has to do, just a little emotional support or whatever, there's this immediate disgust and worthlessness that they see towards you, and they're repulsed by you, and they immediately start scoping out the next man that doesn't have any problems. They view you as a utility. You're like a machine, and you're not a machine. You're a human, and humans have periods of time where they feel a little bit down and they need to come back up, but they view you as a machine. So when you show any sort of sensitivity or vulnerability or weakness, they view you as a machine that's malfunctioning and is defective and needs to immediately be replaced by a more effective machine. And like I said, employers do this. If you have a bad day, or if there's been a death in the family, you're down for a few days, immediately your employers start looking at you as he's just, there's no loyalty. You're replaceable. You're always replaceable. The second you start to get a little weak, which is normal, you bounce back, of course, but they don't care. They instantly start thinking of replacing you, and it's just like You know, the video I did yesterday, the Sociopath Advantage. The best way to always have jobs is to act like you don't need them and act like you're better than everything and just be like, yeah, I can get the money, I don't care. And then the same way to get women is to act like you don't care, act like you don't need them, and have tons of them on standby. And that's because that creates a value in the woman's mind that, you know, he's an alpha male, he's got options, he has, you know, power and stuff. But the problem is, even an alpha male, even whatever kind of male, is a human at the end of the day, and they're going to have periods of time where they need to just slow down a little bit, you know, get their thoughts together, you know, heal and recuperate, and then go back out there. But women view that as weakness, and like he's just damaged and pathetic at that point. You know, it's like, that's how you fail the never-ending shit test. The second you show any signs of being a human being and just being sensitive and needing to lean on them, they just view that as weakness, and it's pathetic. It's really pathetic, you know. And I'm not talking about just getting frustrated. I'm not even talking about crying. I'm talking about when you really reach out to them and say, "Look, I'm really down lately, and I just need someone to talk to." And they can, and cause here's the thing, like, I've reached out to women when I'm kind of down, but even then I really don't need them. It's just like something to do. And then there have been other times where I reached out to women where I was really fucking down. I mean, I was really down, and all it would have taken was like just a day or two of just talking to me, you know, for a couple fucking minutes decently, and I would have gotten back on my feet. But because they could just sense that you're really in a vulnerable state, there's like a level of disgust that they feel. And that's what happens when women are raised in a culture where they are taught that, you know, anything less than, you know, peak performance is garbage, and always be on the upgrade, always be searching for the bigger, better deal. You know, the problem is, even the bigger, better deal, no matter how high you go, every man is just a man at the end of the day. He's not a machine, and he's going to show little signs of weakness. But that's just the sad thing, is we have women's love, we have opportunities until we actually need them. You know, when you're actually starving, no one wants to give you any food. When you show that you have all this food and you're abundant and you don't give a fuck, everyone wants to come give you a little piece of chicken, because they're trying to trick you into trading their piece of chicken for your entire chicken, you know? Or it's like, you know, it's you know, banks do the same thing. It's like when you're really broke and struggling and you have a business idea and you're trying to start a business, the banks refuse to give you a loan. Like, nah, you're too high risk, we don't believe in you. Then when you're this huge established business person that has all the money in the world and doesn't need their money, doesn't need a loan, doesn't need anything, you grinded it out on your own. Now they all want to throw their loans at you. They want to give you credit cards because they think they can get a return on their investment. But if you don't believe in someone, if you don't really help someone and believe in them in the beginning when they didn't have anything, they're not going to respect you when they finally make it, because they're going to remember that you were never there for them when they really needed you. You know, and even if I became some big hot shot tomorrow or whatever in the next 5-10 years, and people from my past who slammed the door on me when I was down start coming back with their hands out, like I know they will, I'm never gonna help them, because I suffered without them. I suffered, and I had the door slammed in my face. And many of you men listening have been in that same position. You know, I'm not unique. This isn't rare. You've been through this too, and it just creates a cold, fucked up society. You know, it creates a cold, sick society. But that's just what it is. You know, you have her until you need her. You know, if you want to have an abundance of women, if you want to have an abundance of opportunity, you have to constantly be acting like you don't need it. And even when you do need it, and even when you're feeling weak, you have to bury that shit and keep going, which is incredibly unhealthy. But, you know, then again, we live in an unhealthy society. So that's just the moral of the story, guys. You have her until you need her.